I've conquered all the chippies. I'm never gonna stop.
Hi, my name's Ovandal, and I'm British. The UK was once stereotyped as a classy, peaceful nation full of polite gentlemen, but in recent years, with help from the internet, the mask has finally slipped off, and now good old Blighty's reputation throughout the world has finally plummeted to, what it's actually like here. I'm not looking for sympathy in this video, I just want you to understand my pain, because really, do you know how embarrassing it is to live on the same island where people have genuine nostalgia for Manic Miner? And some might watch this and call me the pick-me girl equivalent of British people, which simply isn't true. I'm not from Scotland. I just need to blow off some steam today by talking about—
if you don't have a license, they'll know just where to look for you.
A common joke when talking about Britain is the concept of TV licenses, and yeah, in theory it is quite funny, the idea that you need to pay money to watch your own TV. But I don't think people outside of Britain actually know how pathetic it is, because in reality, you don't need a TV license to watch TV in Britain. All you get are some letters through the door saying, "Guys, we're really mad that you haven't paid, and we're gonna visit your house now. We're gonna fine you, and we really mean it this time." On the rare occasion they do visit your home, if you don't let them in, they can't do anything. We are the most incompetent police state in the entire world. We can't even do authoritarianism right.
Riding round in a Rover. If I see Optin, it's over.
For such a small country, the range of accents on display in Britain is actually quite impressive. What's more impressive is how they're able to be all completely terrible in completely different ways. If you're from the south, take your pick. Nasally Cockney geezer, or wishes child labour was still legal. Joke's on you, you got born a Scouser. Have fun never being understood outside the 50-mile radius from where you were conceived. My deepest apologies to all my Liverpudlian viewers. It's not that we can't make out what you're saying, we just don't want to talk to you because you're from Liverpool. Your accent working the same way a poisoned dart frog's markings or a guy who went to Eton's views on race warns other creatures not to touch it. Welsh accents are fine, kind of cute I guess. I refuse to talk about Irish accents though, they'll never be a part of the UK in my eyes. Scottish accents range from mildly pleasant to— what are you saying? Honestly, your accent is probably going to be determined by your class status, just like everything else in this country. Except this time I can't determine who wins here. I'm almost certain if I had this accent instead of my regular one, I'd have double the amount of subscribers by now, because really, who wants to listen to a British person? Think of a popular British YouTuber. Okay, now think of a good British YouTuber. There are like 3, and I'm not even one of them.
Hail covers 72% of the surface. There are grey—
If you ever needed more evidence that this country is just completely cursed, all you have to do is look outside, and 8 months out of the year, it'll probably be grey. I'm not just talking about the sky either, the architecture, the people, the general mood. It's all very grey. We're a very grey island. The weather here has kind of the opposite effect that the weather in California does to its people. Like same amount of mental damage, but the Shadow Realm version. I'm not a spiritual person, but I am genuinely torn on if British weather is the reason the people are the way they are here, or if it's the other way around and we just collectively manifested this by being
19 mouse in baked beans.
I think it's safe to say that British people are mocked for their food more than anything else nowadays, and yeah, I get it. Honestly though, British cooking isn't all that bad. I think a lot of us could just do with a seminar or 2 on seasoning and a whole 4-year college course on presentation.
Please don't, I was joking. Oh, he's done it there.
It's amazing. Amazing.
Because the worst part about eating something like this is realizing that, it actually tastes alright. I will admit, we do still eat like the air raid sirens could be cooled down at any minute, probably because that was the last time we could confidently call ourselves the good guys. Actually, we're gonna be talking about this instead, because oh my god, I am so over the constant fetishization we have for World War II. You ever been in a group project where one of your teammates didn't exactly do much, but enough to be credited, and then 80 years later they're still riding off the high of getting a B grade? Because that's how I imagine America and Russia feel whenever V-Day rolls around in Britain, and everyone collectively transports themselves to the good old days of 1945, before all this woke nonsense and an infant mortality rate below 6%. We cannot let it go. I truly believe if you removed all knowledge of World War II from the collective consciousness, there'd be a mass gun tasting event in Milton Keynes within the hour. Because it seems like period dramas about refugees are the only thing keeping the public from realizing where they actually live. Once we lose free healthcare, this is it, man. World War II is the only possible scrap of cultural pride we could claim. We haven't done anything worthwhile since then, and we sure as shit didn't do anything before. We lose everywhere! So Britain has had such a rich history of embarrassment throughout the ages, mainly because nobody wants us. We got invaded by the Romans, but after 400 years they decided we weren't worth the effort and pissed off as soon as they could. Then France gives us a go after the only important battle to ever happen on this island, and even they couldn't stand us. Imagine being so insufferable that the French don't want you. Then what happens after we're finally left to our own devices? We colonize half the f***ing world. We brought tea over from India and then just like made it our thing. This is just what we do though. We have to steal shit from other countries to get people to possibly want to come visit us. Because really, what culture do we have other than like Shakespeare and My Parents Are Aliens? On the rare occasion Britain does get a big fat dubski, it's usually at the expense of everyone else in the world. Like Industrial Revolution, great job guys. I've got plastic in my blood and I was exposed to Sonic inflation art when I was 11. I think we as a nation subconsciously know this though, which is why we have such a culture of resignation and failure, because our gain is everyone else's loss. Nobody in Britain is allowed to succeed, let alone be happy, and this is a mindset drilled into you from such a young age. You know that one important battle that happened in England that I mentioned? The one that everyone's taught about in school? We lost it! As a British child, you're taught to be a cog in the machine, but also to hate that machine for the rest of your life. It's such a great system that doesn't breed depression at all. And this is reflected in every facet of our media. Our TV is depressing, our comedy is depressing, our music is depressing. You think Radiohead would have formed if Tom York lived literally anywhere else? No! He'd be sitting on a beach in Hawaii by now with a martini in one hand and a vial of estradiol in the other. The thing is, I'm convinced we don't want to be happy. We've been conditioned through years of fascist propaganda to make us believe that even if things can get better, they shouldn't. We like being miserable. It's our thing. That and being addicted to the taste of boot leather. When I inevitably get offered a knighthood for the one good video I've made, am I expected to accept it? Because I'm gonna be real, I'm not gonna bow to the most inbred family the world currently has outside of Game of Thrones. If there's anybody else from Normal Island who feels the same way I do, let's team together. We could separate from the rest of them, surpass our own fates and form our own nation. One with less of the stuff that makes this country so crushing to live in. A nation where we don't go through 3 leaders in a single year, at least one of which was definitely getting off on how badly they were doing. And one where I can get free dental care mainly. I've recently become a Scottish nationalist.
We all knew it was D's nuts.